after his reincarnation was to invest his entire 2 billion assets into the game. Everyone thought Xiao had gone mad. But what they didn't know was that this game would eventually descend into reality, and the attributes gained in the game would also affect his real body. For this, Xiao didn't hesitate to sell all his assets and became the first player to recharge over 100 million. As the first player to recharge over 100 million, Xiao received the unique hidden profession, God of Wealth. He also successfully obtained his first pet beast, a frog. Although this frog had no combat ability, it helped Xiao quickly rise to become the world's #1. In the previous life, after the game descended, monsters ran wild, the world order collapsed, and the world became like hell. Yet, even in such chaotic times, the wealthiest playboy of Zhangchang, Xiao, still protected his fiancée, Qin Yinran, without hesitation. Xiao not only spent a fortune hiring 10 top experts to help Qin Yinran level up, but also sold all his assets to buy her a legendary artifact. Whenever there was an opportunity or equipment, Xiao always prioritized giving it to her. In this way, he poured his time, money, and effort into turning Qin Yinran, who knew nothing, into one of the divine-level experts of the Dragon Nation. Xiao once thought that true love would be returned with true love. But little did he know, on the night of their engagement, she would personally rip out Xiao's heart. Qin Yinran held the still beating heart in her hand, looking down at him with disdain in her eyes. Xiao, did you think money could buy my true heart? Did you think that by giving me resources, you could morally blackmail me? You're wrong. I accepted your gifts, but that doesn't mean I accepted your feelings. I'm not that cheap. All my accomplishments today are the result of my own hard work step by step. The only person who understands my struggles in this world is Zohong. Now take your heart and give it to him. That way, when we're together, he'll be able to hear your heartbeat every day. Xiao, are you moved now? At that moment, Xiao's heart turned to ashes. No. Xiao had no heart left. All those years of effort were just a one-sided wish. He thought he would die in pain and coldness until fate intervened, giving Xiao a second chance. When Xiao opened his eyes again, he found himself back in the week before the game's arrival. At this moment, Qin Yinran looked at Xiao with displeasure. Did you really think I needed your money? Let me tell you, Xiao, I only took your money to spare your pride and face. Understand? If you don't let go, don't come looking for me again. Xiao pulled himself out of his thoughts, glancing down at the bank card in his hand. It had 200,000 in it. The money he originally planned to give to Qin Yinran for a living expenses this month. Qin Yinran continued complaining. You have no idea the kind of torment I went through accepting your money. So many classmates said I was just after a rich second generation, but they have no idea I did it all for your good. Hearing this, Xiao turned his head slightly and looked at her, thinking to himself, in my past life, I was such a fool. How could I fall for a woman like her? If it were the old Xiao, hearing Qin Yuan say she didn't want to see him again, he would have panicked, tried to explain himself, and desperately found ways to make her accept the money. But now, you shall push your hand away and snapped, get lost. I won't give you any more money, not a single penny. Qin Yinran froze for a moment, then she awkwardly said, another one of your little tricks? Fine. I'll reluctantly accept your card this time since he went through so much trouble. Xiao calmly scolded her. Get lost. Now, immediately, leave my sight. Hearing this, Qin Yinran shouted. Xiao, how dare you talk to me like this? You'll regret it. Xiao suddenly remembered that the shoes she was wearing were also bought by him. He raised her foot and took them off. Qin Yinran angrily cursed. Xiao, don't think a couple of dirty pennies make you so great. You think this will make me submit to you? Remember what you've done. From now on, even if you kneel and beg me, I won't ever care about you again. Xiao casually threw Qin Yinran's high heels into the trash. Canon coldly retorted, well, thank heavens. I hope you never show up in front of me again. If you can back off, do it. Thinking back, I was such an idiot. How could I ever like someone like you? There was no time to deal with that green tea bitch anymore. You shall decide to settle things with her later. Right now, he had something more important to do, turning all his assets into cash and charging them into the game. According to the current timeline, the beta test of the Apocalypse game would begin in a week and the recharge system would open briefly for the first 10 minutes. Yi Xiao had to gather enough funds before then. After returning home, Yi Xiao immediately called his cousin, Yi Lin, and told her that he planned to sell all his shares to her with the condition that the deal must be completed within 5 days. Ever since Yi Xiao's parents died in an accident 10 years ago, the multi-billion-dollar company, Bolong, which they had built was almost entirely divided up by relatives and friends. All that was left for Yi Xiao were a small portion of shares and assets that had been pre-arranged for him, totaling about 2 billion in value. Right now, the internal competition within the group was at its peak. Whoever got their hands on Yi Xiao's shares would hold the most power in the company. Therefore, Yi Xiao was sure that Yi Lin wouldn't hesitate for even a second. A week later, when the beta test of the Apocalypse game began, Yi Xiao immediately chose to enter the game. As a flash of white light engulfed him, Yi Xiao's consciousness was transported to the starting area of the game. His in-game name was the same as in his previous life. Yi Xiao chose Night Xiao. Next came the choice of profession. There were many starting professions in the Apocalypse game, such as warrior, knight, mage, and farmer. But Yi Xiao chose the most pay-to-win profession, Beast Master. In his previous life, Yi Xiao had heard about a top-tier guild in the Great Xia Kingdom, who relying on their numbers offended a god-level Beast Master. In retaliation, the Beast Master